Could 2025 be the end of making money online? Well, that's what people have been saying. In fact, some of the recent videos about certain web apps like the Honey app and Pi have been threatening to suck money out of creators and bloggers' pockets automatically. Is this all just a bunch of hype? Or is making money online facing extinction in 2025? Well, today, we're going to get to the bottom of this. What are apps like the Honey app and the Pi ad blocker extension threatening to do to us affiliates, creators, bloggers, and people looking to make money online? And what do you need to know going forward in 2025 to actually put money in your pocket and insulate yourself against AI and all the businesses trying to take money out of your pocket? In a few of my previous videos, I talked about the Honey app and the threat that it poses to affiliate marketing. In fact, you might have seen this video from 4 years ago. But what you might not know is there's another app by the same team lurking around in the shadows trying to take money out of your pocket. And yes, I don't just mean affiliates, creators, and influencers, your pocket as a consumer. According to some experts, these apps are silently causing inflation within the market, meaning the cost of the things you buy every day is going up exponentially, and most people don't know why. Which is why today, we're talking about Pi. 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 This web browser, known as an ad blocker, has gotten over 1 million new users in just a couple of months. But what is it? What does it do? And is it as sinister as people are saying? I mean, let's face it. Ad blockers have been around for quite some time. You might remember this little doozy right here, the TiVo. This box threatened an entire multi-billion-dollar a year ad industry. Why? Because armed with the TiVo and the remote, you could now skip past those pesky commercials nobody really wanted to watch anyway. And when TiVo came out, ad executives were up in arms, wondering what is the future of advertising on TV? Fast forward 25 years later, we can see that advertising now is much different than it was when TiVo first came out. And this begs the question, was TiVo doing something unethical? Were they sidestepping the rules by dipping into the pockets of the TV advertising networks, the actors, the crew, and even the guy picking up the chords in your favorite movie or TV show? Yeah, this little scheme runs deep. Yet, it was perfectly ethical and legal. So how do companies get away with skipping ads and taking money out of your pocket? Well, we're going to get into that in just a minute, and we're going to show you exactly how and why Pi is going to do the same thing, only in a little bit more sinister, evil way. All right, so let's dive into these ad blockers and what the effect is like on the industry. Right now, the ad blocker industry is worth about $8.8 billion as of 2023 and expected to grow to $82 billion by 2030. Now, that number seems a little high to me. I'm not sure if it'll get to 82 billion, but we shall see, because when you're dealing with ad blockers, that's money that comes out of someone else's pocket. So this isn't like something where they're inventing a new business or anything like that. They're literally just taking from one pocket and giving to another. As of mid-2023, they estimated that there was 912 million ad blocking users with an increasing amount. So this is on the grow. But how does this actually work? In just a minute, we're going to get into installing it and showing you how it works. But before we do, I want to kind of give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going on. First of all, the idea is very simple. We want to remove ads. And then, as the Pi company is doing, they want to show their ads and pass some of that money back onto the consumer. Where, if you were to look at some of the quotes that he mentioned in the talks I was listening to, he basically acts like an altruistic person saying, we're going to give the internet back to the people, which is where Pi comes from. The People's Internet Experiment, I think is what it's called, or something like that, where they're going through and trying to give the internet back to the people, but that's not really giving back to the people if you're taking a cut for yourself. That's being another big business that you're supposedly hating on, in my opinion. Again, all of this stuff is alleged. We don't actually know what's going on, but I'm going to show you how this thing works so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. So the idea is we're going to go through and we're going to remove ads. How does this work? Well, the way that this works is actually quite simple. What they do is they have a list of known ad sites and platforms. Google has their own ad platform. Ezoic has theirs. Yahoo has one. All of these big ad places, Taboola, all of these have Taboola, that says Taboola. All of these places have ad platforms hosted on domains. What the tool does is it goes in and takes the domains and it says, when this domain shows up, remove the part of the website that has that domain, thus removing the ad. Same thing happens with videos. Again, I think ad blockers are, in my opinion, not the most ethical way to be a consumer online. It'd be kind of like if you were, going to a movie and taking your own drinks. Is that something people do? Yes. Is it ethical? No. Should the people charge $10 for a soda the size of my house? Probably not. That's contributing more to diabetes than it is wasting money. But at any rate, we have to look at this and understand what's going on. So going through and looking at this and saying it's removing the ads, and then they're saying you can have a choice to put ads back on, but you're going to see our ads. Effectively being the middleman, saying any ad you see online, if you have this, is our ad, and you get a small portion of money back. So what's happening is this list of ads and ad sites that they have goes into a database. It tells the installed toolbar, hey, when you see this, block it. And it blocks that ad and calculates how much space it saves based on the size of the ad. This is all stuff that is basically in HTML anyway. If I was to go to New York Times right like this, you are going to see that there are certain ad places on here that they will remove. Same with this sponsored link here. They know that that's an ad. The tool would then remove that. Again, I don't think it's very ethical because if Google wasn't making money, they wouldn't provide a good search engine. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And sometimes ads are actually pretty good. But what it's doing is it's going through and it is taking the ads out of the website in a very simple way. Facebook, we didn't test it with Facebook, but I'm pretty sure it will remove some of the ads on Facebook and Instagram and different things like that as well. So that's what's happening. It's going through, it's removing the ads. That part, unfortunately, that is what the consumer wants. So if the consumer doesn't want to see ads, then us as marketers, as businesses that advertise things, we need to rethink what we're doing. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to survive, thrive, and make more than ever thought possible in 2025. And hey, that rhymes, so smash the like button. Let's install this and check it out. We're going to add this to Microsoft Edge just because this is a browser I don't use that much, and you never know what you're going to get. But over here, we can kind of see what it does. So from a consumer perspective, what would you think of this? Like, are you intrigued by the idea of blocking ads, or?
I'm more wary, but I believe like a lot of people will use this ad because it seems useful for them, both by blocking the ads and bringing money if you watch something. My only concern is that as any other extension, the main purpose is to get profit. So it again can kind of control of what you see and what you don't. Like if the advertiser paid you, you promote them. If they didn't, you'll never know about them.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because, this company has an altruistic view where they're like, oh, we're saving the internet from businesses, but this is founded by one of the biggest Chrome extension businesses ever to exist.
Yeah, and they're genius in this because they do provide you a value as a user. And if you don't think too deep, you won't even notice something is wrong.
Exactly, kind of like TiVo. Like It did affect the industry. So let's go ahead and click on Get. Let's see what happens. So right here, one of the things to pay close attention to is what an extension can and can't do. So this can read and change all your data on all websites. So you log into the bank, it can change things. Now, can it go in and do things on your behalf? An extension can. We saw that with the Honey app where it put coupons in on our behalf. But again, it would need to be in here. So that's kind of like, okay, you got to watch out for that. Manage your apps, extensions, and themes. So this can manage all other extensions. That's interesting. So from a person who knows computer, and you know computer pretty good, this is kind of scary.
Yes, it is scary because as you get something useful from it, but at the same time, you also trust them a lot with your data and with how your overall experience gonna look like.
Okay, so now we've installed it. I did see it popped up here. So let's go ahead and pin this to the bar so we can see it at all times and see kind of what pops up. So AdBlock is enabled on this site. So they have an AdBlock on their own website. That's kind of weird. Choose your AdBlock mode. Okay, visual, watch ads vanish off the page. Okay, earn rewards, no thanks, because we don't want to sign up. Unlock more cash back. Now, one of the things I saw in this is they were very liberal with the word invest, which was like, what are you guys asking me to invest in? That was kind of interesting. I think that could be a play for later. Maybe they're going to have some kind of platform or investment kind of deal. One of the things I would look at is like, never underestimate someone who's made millions or billions when they're not making that much anymore.
That is so true.
They will do so much to get it back. And we think as normal people, like, oh, they got billions. What do they care about? And that's something to look at. So let's do, here's an interesting one, ad pie shopping. Now, one of the interesting things here is this is not in the extension. This is on the website. So technically, this entire website is controlling our experience.
Yes.
So they're talking back and forth to each other. So add pie shopping. I'm guessing this is going to be like add honey to pie, but...
Yeah, it seems like it's the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, cash back to you. So they're kind of making like a Rakuten ad blocker play, add coupons, which I don't know. Depends on how long their non-compete was with PayPal. I mean, that could be, you know, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. It's all alleged. Let's add pie shopping and see what we got. So now we have the tool installed. So if I was to go to like New York Times, let's see if it does anything with the ads here. Space save 5%. So we did see that. Space save 39%. It is blocking them. That's an interesting thing. It's literally blocking the ads. Now, for me as a marketer and a consumer, I was mad when my wife bought TiVo because I liked watching commercials. I was like, you know, I'm kind of interested in this stuff. We could see Microsoft Shopping is also trying to give us some stuff there. But yeah, let's try like Vimeo. Is Vimeo Vimeo, that one. So boom, got rid of ads there. 10% cash back. This is Microsoft. I'm not sure. So here's Vimeo. Do more with video. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. What is that other one? Maybe Twitch.
Yeah, let's do Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch, I know they talked about. And I think ad blockers are actually a bad thing for the industry. But let's see here.
Yeah, I heard the concern exactly about Twitter, that it doesn't block everything.
So let's see. I think I can shut this down. So Twitch Sports. Paid promotion. So it is showing me an ad, but it says it's blocking it, but it's not.
Does it cut it shorter?
It could have cut it shorter. Blocking ads 10, 12 seconds saved. I mean, so what do you think? For the user experience, do you like this or not like this?
I don't understand it that easily yet. I feel like it's doing its job, and I feel it will be helpful for people who are really annoyed by the app. So if you're struggling to actually tell apart the real content and the app, you'll probably use that. But also for me personally, I would say I'd rather not, because I can still skip some of the ads pretty efficiently on my own. And when I don't, it seems like maybe I don't either.
Well, yeah, and you're also giving them control to take the ad. So here's the thing. In my opinion, we need to stop thinking that billionaires have our best interest at heart, because I've never had one knock on my door and say, how can I make your life better?
Yes.
Even politicians don't do that.
Yes, there are two sides of it all the time. Like, yes, it gives benefits to you, but it also gives benefits to them. And it's a question of a time of when they're actually going to overuse this.
Yep, and they just took all the ads off Google, which is like, I don't know if that's necessarily good. I mean, when I was buying this house as our office, I found an ad on Google that was the best refinance company I've ever used.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes ads are useful. What I like what they said is that you can have control over which advertisers to see, which is a nice idea for the user because you can choose what you are interested in and what you are not. But at the same time, again, remember that there's also control from the back end of it. Like they will only choose those people who are collaborating with them. And maybe there is advertiser, a small company that are trying to be on the market and you would be interested in them, but you will never see them.
Absolutely. And I think also like what they're doing is they're like, okay, we're going to take the user here. This is our user. And the user is like, okay, I'm not going to see ads anymore unless I get paid. So now the user's like, okay, get rid of all the Google ads and all these other ads and now only show me ads that are from Pi. So now essentially Pi is taking all the money from all the creators
and gives you
like
this,
not even that, it's more like that.
Yeah,
and don't worry, this is fake. I use fake money because it makes sense.
Exactly.
And you know, it's I don't think the proposition is good just from the standpoint alone of like the power you're giving this over your computer. I'd rather watch ads and have a safe computer. Not saying it's not safe, but they have access to a lot of things if they so choose to use them. And I mean, how many times do we need to learn, like, if you give someone an inch, they take 10,000 miles?
Yeah, and they put you in the bubble of what they involve only there. And I heard that with TiVo, it was an issue when TiVo started actually to promoting their own ads instead. Like, where is the guarantee that the Pi is not going to do the same?
Yeah, well, and eventually, if there's no ads and Pi is making the money and giving some back to you, one, nobody's going to make content because they're not getting paid. I mean, let's face it, I like teaching affiliate marketing, but if the paycheck stopped, I'm going to go do something else.
Exactly.
And that is going to take away the content and, just the settings that this has is insane.
It will be like you will only get something of it if you go to Pi and be their partner.
Exactly. And free premium features, that right there, that phrase says that they are going to charge for this in the future. Right there. It's like, okay, that's what they're going to do. This is something where I think it has some sinister bad things in it. I think, one, watch ads. Who cares, right? Like, I miss the old ads. I don't think, advertising's bad per se. And I think that using these tools is going to undermine a lot of creators and a lot of websites. Now, with that said, have you ever been to a website that has a million ads on it that drives you nuts? I mean, if you were to look up, like, let's say Pi recipes Apple, what you're going to see is there are so many sites here that have ads all over them. Like, boom, there's one. And more importantly, like the smaller sites where you have like a Little Spoon Farm or whatever, they're going to have ads everywhere. Boom.
Yes, and I think that's what people think exactly when they imagine the ad that Pi is going to be blocking. Like, because you saw this annoying page with a ton of it that's blocking your view and doesn't let you see the main information there.
Exactly. And you're going to see, okay, a lot of these are going to go by the wayside. And a lot of them are going to be like Azoic, different places that just bombard you with ads. I could see the appeal. However, to those bloggers using those ads, to those influencers just relying on ads, you are wasting so much money, it's not even funny, and you're irritating your market by just relying on that. In different places, we have settings of where our ads go and how big they are and how long they run, where I have found that I make far more really serving my market than I do just running ads. And I think that's important. But yeah, looking at this, looking at the install, looking at how it actually works, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it will take, yes, from the people who bombard you with the ad, they will, but they will also take from people who have a targeted high quality ad that you might have needed even, and they will take their money and make it theirs.
Exactly. And like if you were to go to Amazon, it is going to pop up, get rid of the ads. And it is also going to, when you go to checkout, it's going to apply the coupon with their affiliate link, which, it's kind of a gray area. Is it ethical? Is it legal? Yeah, it's gray area. But they're kind of bundling everything together, which I don't like. And one of the things that's interesting is the ad still being paid for? I think it is. I think the ad blocker technically is a bot seeing the ad. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. We'll look into that. But yeah, I think this is kind of a dangerous, slippery slope when it comes to making money. So, Elena, thanks for throwing a pie at me. Appreciate that. And thanks for your input on this app. Let's dive in and talk more about how this is going to affect the industry, what you can do, and how you can insulate yourself in 2025. All right, so now that you see how that works, let's take a look at what the impact on the industry is projected and is right now. We can see that ad blocking is forecasted to cost publishers $54 billion in 2024 alone. That's a lot of money that is taken out of the publishers' pockets. And again, remember, when we're dealing with this stuff, the big businesses always get theirs first. So who this is really going to affect is going to be the creators like you, me, influencers, and bloggers. So this is going to get pretty bad. Now, we can also see that in the United States, 32% of internet users employ ad blockers. I thought that this number was way high. Like I thought that it was going to be like 4% or 10%. Knowing that 32% of internet users are using these tools, I'm not a fan of them. I think it's actually not the greatest way to go about using the internet. With the exception, I mean, obviously bloggers should be mindful of how many ads they put, but I don't see the benefit. I've never used one. I don't tell people to use one. But unfortunately, it is at the end of the day the consumer's responsibility. When we went through and had TiVo, if people didn't buy TiVo, they would have gone out of business. But people bought it, and they're still in business today. I don't know how, but they are. People are still paying to remove ads on Hulu and remove ads on Amazon and different things like that. So unfortunately, this is in the consumer's ballpark, like having them install it. That is up to them. Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting, Ryan is the guy who created the Honey app and is now behind the Pi app. I thought it was interesting that one of his big business philosophies was, I'm not a sucker, and it feels really bad to get taken for a ride. Okay, interesting, coming from, someone who's made $1 billion, and looking at that and saying, wait a minute, what's actually going on here? Is this the philosophy you go by, or is it business money? Money's everything. Because I think there are people that are getting taken for a ride with these ad blockers. And I don't think it's that good. Also, when he was talking about the Honey app, he said, we are the last button that people are clicking before they choose to buy anything online, which means, yes, they are getting in there at the end of the checkout process. They are getting the commission. They are essentially taking that out of the pocket of the creator in a roundabout way. But again, we have to remember, it was the consumer's choice to install this. Now, are they upfront about all the stuff that the app is doing? No. Is the general consumer not aware of what these things can do? No. I think we need more education, and I think we need more checks and balances of, hey, this is how it works. Did you know that if you install this, this is what's going to happen? I think that's very important. I think we see some changes in the real estate market when it talks about that as well. Another thing here, which I thought was a good quote from him, was the thing people overlooked fundamentally with extensions, meaning these browser extensions, we talked about them, I have some videos in the description about that, was the user behavior. He was talking about the user behavior of skipping ads, going past things, checking out, looking for coupons, and different things like that. And I think one of the biggest worries I have about these is the fact that it does, in fact, act on our behalf. The worst part that I saw in the Honey app was the fact that it put the coupons in for me. That means it's actually filling out a form on my behalf at the checkout process where all of my sensitive data is stored. And theoretically, a browser extension can actually access that data if it's allowed, right? So it does have to be upfront, like, hey, we are accessing this. But then again, how many people actually read what this stuff means? I mean, if you know more than the average person about computers, they word these things in ways where it's like, yeah, it seemed harmless, but it's not. So looking at that, what a browser extension can do, read and modify the content of a page. Whatever page you're on, it is manipulating that content. It can inject scripts and styles into web pages. meaning theoretically they can have a one-click upsell. They can have something that charges you. They can have something that does all kinds of things. Do they? I don't think so. Doesn't seem to be, but it can. And that can is where the worry is. Very important. It can change your browser settings and actions. Interesting. It can control manage tabs, windows, history, network request, storage, if the cookie's permission is granted, interaction with the user interface, inter-extension communication. Interesting. I didn't know it could communicate with other extensions. Native application communication, permissions, and user data. This one's a big one. Can it access our emails, stored passwords, different things like that? And then on we go. So looking at that, I think this is something that's far bigger than I just don't want to see ads, which, that is going to affect the industry. I mean, we are seeing that it is estimated $54 billion just this year is lost in advertising revenue because of this stuff. And when looking at that, 54 billion amongst, web creators, that's a lot of money. I mean, you're talking Google AdSense, the whole platform is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 100 billion or something like that, without YouTube included. And looking at that, it's like, okay, this is taking money out of the pockets of people with blogs and advertising. This is something much more sinister than here's a coupon app that does this. But again, at the end of the day, it is up to the consumer to decide. What if all the consumers decide they don't want to see ads anymore? This thing goes viral, boom. Now we got to find a different way to make money. And that's what this is about. If you are a creator, if you own a blog, if you get traffic of any kind, we need to be in the habit of owning our audience. We need to get a website, get a domain name, build your audience, build something that people know, like, and trust. Build a tool or app. Using AI, you can create a tool like this. Maybe you have, Bob's cooking tips or whatever your site's about, and you have a little app where, it'll go through and find the best cooking utensils for whatever recipe they're on, or something like that. Make something better, be better, give your audience more, and you will make more. These people out there that are putting just Ezoic on their blog and making less than 2 cents a click, those days are numbered, if not over. The people that are just making videos and relying on ads alone to make money, those days are numbered, if not over. So getting a tool or an app, getting people to something else, building your brand, but not in the sense of a brand of I'm Marcus. No. Go to my site to get these things. That's the kind of brand that we want to build. And we want to go through and build a list. Being able to email my audience has made me a lot of money, whereas I wouldn't be able to before. If all I did is rely on automatic generated ads on my websites, I would not even be able to afford any part of my business because it would be so small. A lot of people don't know this, but ads is literally less than 7% of my total income. Promoting bigger stuff is where the money comes in. If you're out there and you're promoting a certain type of pan and it's on Amazon and you get $1 to sell it, why not enter drop shipping and say, well, I'm going to drop ship that. I'm selling it anyway. I might as well get $30 instead of $1. Or maybe I can make a course or a membership site or make a software or something like that that's very important. The problem here is that when it comes to influencers and people in general, there's an old business saying that says people will do more to save $10,000 from being taken than they will to get a new $10,000. Meaning they will put a hedge around that 10 grand. They will work hard to keep it, but they won't work as hard to get a new $10,000. And that is what we are seeing here. People are fighting this, which is a battle you can't win. I mean, it's something lawyers and governments need to get involved in if they decide that it is not an ethical way to run business. However, what I'm going to do in the meantime, because nobody's looking out for us creators and influencers except us. So what we need to do is we need to focus on how am I going to make that new money? How am I going to take my audience and make money in new ways and build and grow in new ways? Ways that'll bypass these affiliate hijacking cookie schemes, or ways that will bypass the ad blockers or whatever it is. Because as far as it is right now, there's nothing that can detect when I am sharing something in my video. Like right now, if I say, hey, you want notes from this video and you want some tools, and right now for our New Year's special, we're actually giving away domains to everyone who joins, which means, hey, if you're an influencer, we'll go out there, we'll find you a good domain that we think is good, that we can acquire, and we'll get it for you. All you have to do is be an AI Profit Scoop, and we'll show you how to build it, which is a pretty sweet deal because you can cancel whenever you want, and the domain is yours, which is great. And if you're not an influencer, we have tons of other domains that'll help you get started as well. So going through and looking at this and saying, how can I be better? How can I serve my market better? How can I spend the time and think about these as people rather than I got 1 million views and made $1,000? We need to think of these as people, think about what we can do to make more money and serve our market better. So if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button. And if you want to check out AI Profit Scoop, AIProfitScoop.com, I will have notes from the video, including some of the screenshots, information on how this stuff works, and some other videos about how to make money online in 2025. Thanks again for watching, and check out the links in the description.